Yes, it all comes down to risk and benefit. Now, clearly, older people are at much higher risk of dying from COVID. For them, they can take the risk of a blood clot because it is still extremely rare, just 4 in a million or so. And so the risk of COVID is much, much higher. But, of course, younger people, those in their 20s, the risks of dying are very low indeed. And that is why the JCVI, the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation, has taken the view that for people aged between 18 and 29, that they should be offered an alternative vaccine. Either Pfizer or the Moderna vaccine now being rolled out in Wales from today and elsewhere in the UK in the coming weeks. There are going to be several million doses of those, so they will be offered an alternative because so far there is no safety signal associated with those RNA vaccines. It's a different kind of technology to the Oxford-AstraZeneca one, and that's why they're taking the precautionary approach. And for these young people where the benefits of vaccination are lower, that they also have to reduce the risk, and that means giving these alternative vaccines, not AstraZeneca.
What do we know, Thomas? You were just talking there about the number of vaccines we've got, the different types of vaccine. We had Moderna coming on stream today. We have been warned that there's going to be disruption in supply to the vaccine programme this month. That cohort that we're talking about, the bulk of which won't expect to be seeing their first jabs until towards the summer. What do we think it could mean for the progress of the vaccine programme?
Well, certainly there's potential that it will be delayed by a few weeks. And yes, these people in their 20s would have been the last to receive the vaccinations because we're still going down the age bands over the weeks. Now, there's nobody due to receive their first doses in April because there's already been a supply issue with the vaccines. But things will pick up again from May and begin to be rolled out. But you can expect that the government's target of reaching everybody by the end of July may now have to be pushed back into August if there is a problem. Now, they will, I'm sure, say that as long as all the pharmaceutical companies are able to deliver their doses on time, then they should be okay, because there will be other vaccines due to come on stream, not least the one from Johnson & Johnson, which is a single dose, but also one from Novartis. So the medicine cabinet of vaccinations is going to increase, and that will help certainly to get over this problem that does seem to be emerging with the AstraZeneca jab.
What about people who are in that cohort, Thomas, who may have already had the first dose of an AstraZeneca vaccine? What then happens?
So the thinking is that they should, and we will hear the details in the news briefing shortly, that they should come forward still and have their second dose. Now, whether they would in the circumstances, particularly when people of a similar age who've yet to have their first dose are being told that they should be given an alternative, that will be a real test of confidence in the vaccine. But the medical regulator and the vaccine experts for the government do believe that there is still good benefit from this vaccine. There is no doubt that older people should still have the AstraZeneca vaccine. If there are lots of doses available, take them, because the risks of COVID are so much higher. The question is for these younger people, and I think we need to be very careful that we stress that it is in the young where the risk perhaps begins to look a little bit difficult to take, given the benefits of the vaccination, because people in their 20s don't generally die from the vaccine if they're otherwise from the virus unless they have an underlying health condition. They're only being asked to take it to stop the spread of the virus to the general population.
Now, that risk trade-off certainly becomes very poignant, doesn't it, when you think about it like that for the people in the younger cohorts. What we were hearing from the EMA there was that they hadn't yet identified any particular risk factor associated with gender or with age. So are we just to presume that the investigations are still ongoing and this is really just a precaution?
It is a precaution, and they don't really understand what's going on. They have found some evidence of antibodies in the blood that are associated with other clotting disorders. Now, is that an immunological consequence of vaccination? We don't know, but it is a possible causative link with the vaccine, and that's why people are being extremely cautious. And certainly we've heard from the German authorities that there is this association with young women, and as a precaution, they, the French, the Germans, they've all, and the Canadians rather, they've all taken the view that just to be sure, just to be safe, they are not going to give the AstraZeneca people even to the middle-aged. Now, here in the UK, the decision has been to set the bar at a lower age band, at the age of 30. So it is definitely a split, if you like, within Europe on the evidence and just what action they need to take.